Hello, hello. I hope everybody's doing okay. I was waiting till a few people got on here and trying to see if I can get this, see if I can get these comments up there. Maybe. I hope I can. Well, I hope y'all are doing okay this evening. I thought I better come on so y'all would know I was among the living and see about what was. Hi, Debbie Sue. Good to see you. Uh, I thought I better come on because I had a hi, Karen Ann. I thought I had a message from Peter that lives in Florida. He's been one of our longtime followers. Granny Pat's, mine, uh, maybe Grandma Lois. I'm not sure, but his wonderful mother. He's her caretaker, and she had a massive, a stroke. He thought this morning, but then he wrote me a message back on the YouTube and said she had a heart attack and a stroke, and not so sure if she even knew him. So that's not pleasant for him. And he's always commenting to y'all, and it's Peter in Florida. Yeah, it's when a loved one like your mother or something gets very ill, and you're being a caregiver like I am also, it's really sad. When something does happen and you kind of sit there and think through everything. Well, could I have done this or could I have done that? But hi, Dee. Good to see you. Nita Ross. Diane. Good to see you. North Carolina. Yes. Simply David said, I was so sorry to hear that about Peter's mother. My prayers are with her and Peter. Mine too. That's what he asked for was continued prayers, and that's what we're going to have to do. My throat, all the allergies are bad. Yeah, I need a Ross prayers for Peter and his mom. Excuse me, because when a heart attack like that and a stroke and her not knowing him, I've not been around much of that. Mother had a couple of TIAs, but it just so happened I recognized it and got her help. And the ambulance, he called the ambulance, I think is what he told me. Of course, you can't do much like you can on Facebook. You can't do much on YouTube to get a message out to any of us. They have that, all that area you can do a message or something. And that's the only thing I knew to do because I couldn't go live. I've been having a lot of medical stuff going on, as y'all can imagine. And so I couldn't go live to ask for prayers immediately like I always do. But it's good enough. The Lord knows what's in our heart. And we'll just say, if I can ever get my throat cured, well, I'll tell you why my throat's acting up. Baby Kitty, my cat, the one that's in the house with one eye, got out the door under my legs, which he never usually tries with me. He'll try with mother. And he went out in the woods and the bushes and the field. And I told mother, I said, you're just going to have to leave him alone and he'll come back to the door, which he did. But it's nightfall. And I thought, what if he gets out there and can't see to get back to the house? So I went out there and continued clapping and saying his name to try to help him get back to the house. And he came back. So, but now he's herping up some stuff. I probably ate a bunch of grass, it looked like. So I've got that to deal with. And I thought I better go on because, so that's why my throat is so hoarse, y'all, because I got out in that brush that broom weed and all those terrible things. And it's just now hitting me about the time I get to talk to my friends. But y'all just have to forgive me. But we'll just say a little prayer, y'all, for Peter and his mother. Heavenly Father, we lift up the mother of our dear friend to you tonight. Please bring her healing, comfort, and strength as she recovers. Bless her with your peace and surround her family with hope and love. Guide the hands of her caregivers and fill everyone with courage in this difficult time. We trust in your goodness and mercy. Thank you. And we all said amen. Yeah, Peter texted me today that his mother had a stroke. I'm sorry I didn't, you weren't in here. And later this afternoon, he said it was a heart attack also, which is double whammy. But we just pray that God will take over the situation for her and for him, because his mother's about like my mother is to me. You know, when something happens, I just go haywire. And, you know, we just have to bear it, do it, and try to get through it. Because it's very difficult when, well, y'all know, when a child or a mother, father, child, anybody that you're close to gets sick, you worry about them. And we all hope that everything will work out for them. Fine. I've got the 14th. They called me to do that intake, you know, for my procedure up here, not the cancerous tumor, but the procedure up here. I bet they kept me on the telephone an hour, and it was a doctor that called. I've never had a doctor call me and to do an intake, like just a basic intake. But she was a medical doctor. I guess my doctor asked her to make sure everything was proper before he does that scope on next week. And mother and I went and got our, you know, we have to take our boosters and so we got flu and COVID. They didn't bother me a bit. My arm is a little sore on this one. Mother's the same way. Usually if my arm's sore here, hers is sore. If my arm's sore here, hers is sore. But I'm gonna tell you, a month or whenever I had that COVID, if I hadn't had them shots, y'all, it probably killed me. And that's what the pharmacist told me. He had never had it till this year with this new strain, and he said it was pretty bad. I said, yeah, it was pretty bad. So Dee said, when your doctor calls, that's when your case is important. Well, I know that, of course, they are just watching Billie Jean on the YouTube. Of course they are. They just love me so much, you know. No, I'm appreciative of anything they do, because the Podunk, y'all know the Podunk Hospital. Thank God I don't have to go there. I might as well go down to the veterinarian, horse doctor. You know, after mother's crazy happenings there with them telling her she had COVID and a tumor, and she'd had neither one, that her doctor verified the next day. I'm not so sure. I will not take my dog there, you know, until that place cleans. It looks dirty, y'all. It just looks plumb dirty too. So there's no way to run a hospital, but there's a lot of them that way in these small communities, and we just have to get over it. I'm not going back there, but they did give me the coagulational medicine the day that I bled out. Thank God for that. But the doctor only works twice a month. So if you have a heart attack or something, you're just hit and miss to get that one doctor, because you'll be pushing up daisies, I'm afraid, if you wait on any of the others. There's one other one that I've known for years that works there, and but he has the students. He ramrods the students and all that stuff in their program, their medical program. And you'd think with a hospital as uh, that has students and training and all that, they could keep that clean. They could keep good references, good case studies. Uh, Maybe that's why a lot of our medical students, my stepdad was a physician, uh, a lot of the medical students, they just don't care. And a lot of the older doctors, they've become to where they don't care because they're having to work in the conditions that they're not used to because they've been at this for 30 years or 40 years, and they're tired, and I can understand it, you know. And then with all this stuff going on, that our premiums are going to go up possibly. Uh, I'll just wait and see, just like y'all will have to do. I hope it don't. I hope it doesn't happen. Simply David said, "Oh, yeah, I wouldn't go back either." No, I think I could have more luck out here at the vet. I've got two vet friends, and they're pretty knowledgeable on human and animal medicines. If I really needed them, I could call them and say, "Hey, you know, Connie Moore, hi, Billie Jean, do you still go live with Granny Pat?" Not in a while, honey, because a lot of times the internet would mess up and we couldn't do it. And she just really didn't, she doesn't like it too much. Uh, I've been trying to work it out where we can go live again, but it kind of makes her just, she doesn't feel good about it. And so I don't push anybody to do anything. And I think it would be maybe around Christmas. We always do it New Year's and Christmas, and or we have this last year, not like we've been at this for 40 years. No, but maybe we can do something around Christmas, Thanksgiving, the holidays is when we always used to come on, you know. Dee said, Lord, the staff unfortunately are not trained well in certain areas. How horrible for the people who are less fortunate and don't have options. Imagine they all die in places like that. Well, there's been quite a few, you know. I guess there's quite a few at a lot of hospitals, but I know that there's been quite a few, you know. But you don't know if it's curable because I don't know what these people passed away with. You know, I don't. When I worked at the funeral home one time, I would know, kind of what things because I would do calls occasionally to go if one of the morticians or somebody couldn't go and pick them up. I was a lot younger and I could maneuver those cots and all that stuff, and I would go pick up at hospitals because if you have two or three going happening at once, you've got to. So I was more or less a makeup artist, and that's where I really kind of my first job was in a funeral home. I was 16, 17 years old, and I started doing cosmetics and driving the hearse. And to this day, no ticket. And I'm a very, very cautious driver. Uh, I mean, I stay way back, just in case their wheel come off or something, it wouldn't run into that wouldn't make me have a wreck. But it's all because of the training from those people in the 70s and 80s, in the 80s. Uh, Taught me how to drive. And when you're driving a hearse, those things are very, very heavy. So you have to do things before you get to where you're going, like turning and all that. You've got to get it in your brain. So it's helped me over the years with my driving, I'm pretty sure. And kind of with the same way with the hospitals, I'd have to go pick up the deceased and because they sometimes they wouldn't be anybody to go get them, so I'd go get them. It didn't bother me at that time, but now it probably would because the older I've gotten, I'm getting down that road, and but Yeah, I just hope that Peter's mama, I just pray, Lord, just to get her out of the danger that's happened today, because I know she means so much to him, and it's just heartbroken. Billy, did you ever get scared when you were young around the death of the public at the funeral home? Uh, there was one funeral home that I worked at in Bonham, Texas, and it was the old Scarborough home, and it was a mansion that had turrets and copper roof, and it was big. Been a funeral home for, I guess, nearly 100 years at that time, or from the 1870s, and I always thought possibly. I'm not one to believe in ghosts uh, or spirits or anything like that, because my Christian values that my grandmother said there's no such thing. But by gosh, I'll tell you, there was some little girl that had a three-legged dog that would go up that uh, banister, or go up the staircase in that house, and I saw her about 4 times over the little while that I worked there, because I decided I didn't want to work there. So that's the only time day is I'd have to back then say they didn't have call forwarding, and they didn't have cell phones. So somebody had to stay at the funeral home and answer the line. So that was the funeral home that buried Sam Rayburn, Speaker Sam Rayburn. And so a lot of those records, and a lot of even caskets and things were up in the attics and places that they were close to 100 years old, and a lot of it was given to the Fannin County Museum. The embalming tools that they would take to the house, there was a board that uh, kind of like a card table. It would unfold, and they would embalm people at home with these glass jars with tubes. Um, they were called gravity bottles because they didn't have pumps. So they had to put one bottle up with liquid water, and then one bottle down here. And some way it made a suction, and they embalmed people at home without electricity. They just had coal oil lamps. So all that stuff was given to and around this time of year, Halloween, I think they pull it out and put it on show, But if y'all have never been to Bonham, Texas, you need to go. Speaker Sam Rayburn's library is there, and it's a beautiful marble place. Even though he was good friends with my granddaddy, sold him hogs. My granddaddy sold his people hogs. Uh, he was just as common as everyday person, but they built this big marble museum for him, and it is beautiful. It literally is beautiful. If you ever get to that area, go see the Sam Rayburn. And then his home is it's a big home with pillars and things on it, and white wood, and uh, kind of a clapboard house, but it's furnished well for that time period, and they've kept it. And Lady Bird Johnson, uh, she was she instigated a lot of keeping that really good, so that for generations to come. And so she would have fundraisers, and she asked me a couple of times to help her, and that was later on. But yeah, it's still going, and I know where his ranch house is. Not many people know that the site where he would go hunting with his uh, men friend, and that was down close to our ranch on the Red River. So I know where that is. They need to get a monument, a plaque put up, because that was where he mostly stayed when he came in from Washington D.C. Was down there at the ranch house right outside of Ivanhoe, Texas. So that's a little history tonight, because I didn't have anything else to tell you. And Dee wanted to know if I ever got scared. And I guess I was scared, Dee. I don't know. When you see a little girl with a three-legged dog going up a staircase and you know she's not there, it kind of sends your hair up and down your back. It makes you feel kind of weird. I guess that's called scared. I wasn't deathly scared to where I had to uh, run out the front door and feel like something was chasing me. But I always felt, though, at that funeral home, I'll just tell you this, uh, if I got kind of antsy about something, because she wasn't the only one, there's a few other haints or haunts or spirits that I wondered about. I just start talking to them like they're, if somebody had come in that funeral home, they'd thought I lost my ever loving mind. I just talked to these, after the closing, after they had family nights, because back then you had family nights usually the night before you had the funeral, but now they do it, I think, during an hour before. But back then, everybody got dressed up and went to the funeral home and uh, did all that stuff. And after I was closing up at night, uh, I just, if I felt kind of scared, y'all need to look that up online. That Wise Funeral Home, WISE, Wise Funeral Home in Bonham, Texas, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, I saw David. David, I saw you. I'm late to the party. Hope everyone is okay. Well, David, we got some news today. Peter in Florida, his mother had a stroke and a heart attack. We said a prayer for them. He messaged me today on YouTube. Not, I wish they'd get something with YouTube where we could message each other or something like that. I'm going to figure out a way because you can't get any prayers up when you need them because it takes so long on this YouTube. I mean, I've got the Facebook page, but not everybody has Facebook or has joined Just Me, Billie Jean channel. And then there's the email, justmebilliejean@yahoo.com. And I check it. I try to check it, but every day I try to check it. Sometimes I miss stuff, though. Y'all have to realize that I'm going through a lot here. So let me see. Billy, did you go to cosmetology school or did you learn makeup and design? I went to several cosmetician schools. I never wanted to do hair. Of course, sometimes I had to, but I was never really good at it. But I could fill in when there wasn't a hairdresser or something like that. I was pretty good at filling in. You don't want to see me roll on them rollers. You don't want to see me roll because it'll come out as frizzy as you might as well forget it. Now the makeup, I can make somebody look pretty damn good. I don't know if I can still do it today, but I use paintbrushes. I'm meticulous about it. Yeah, prayers for them, David said. Debbie Sue said she'd run out the front door and made one to run out of and made the other to run out of. Well, it's a job that I took on at the funeral home, funeral homes. I've been to worked at several, but within my early days. But I'll tell y'all something. I became, you see that day in and day out sorrow, and you become just hard-hearted to life. Uh, like my grandmother that I love so much, that taught me to cook the biscuits, that stuff. When she passed away, I just hardly couldn't even shed a tear because I was so hard-hearted from seeing that. And that was like 5 years later, maybe. From seeing that every day, it just gets so humdrum that you just kind of going through the motions, but you don't have no personal, I don't know, feeling. So that's why I got out of it. Uh, I never really wanted to be in that science of life. Uh, I was intrigued by it, but after that, I thought, I'm not going to go through life and not be caring of others or not be caring of my family or not shed a tear if I need to cry because of the way this business has took hold of me and made me feel. So I think if a lot of the morticians, a lot of the funeral directors and things, they become hard-hearted to life, and maybe their wife or they don't understand why, that they show not a lot of emotion. Well, it's because they're around that environment, and I didn't want to be that. I'm too happy-go-lucky to not have compassion for my fellow man, and I never want to not uh, be that way. I've seen people that are just ugly all the time. I mean, literally just ugly all the time. I can't be that way. Now that I've gotten feeling worse, uh, today I'm okay. I still got this dizziness, y'all, and it's like a vertigo. And then one of my Oriental rugs that I had took out of the house to put under the car park with all the stuff for the big sale one day soon. I got my foot hung on that big Abisan or big rug, and I kind of fell down onto the rug. So I didn't fall and hurt myself. I didn't think. But now for the past 4 days, I have had lower back pain till I cannot hardly even sit in this chair right now. I use a tennis ball and I put it kind of under my leg and under my butt, under my hip, in those kind of holes back there, the where your muscle, and I can lay on that tennis ball and it seems to uh, get those muscles uh, kind of easy so I can go to sleep. And I've got muscle relaxers and stuff, but with the liver, you just have to be careful. I don't take anything that I don't have to. And so I've just been battling this the last 4 days on my own, you know, lemon water, and that's about it. Uh, so I've been trying to watch the sodium. Boy, that's difficult. That is so difficult, but I'm doing it. I am doing it. And that spice mix that I've got to write it down. See, I still hadn't written that down. That has been so good for my no salt. And I've got the bottles in this part of the cabinet when the other spices are all everywhere. But I know what I put in it. Uh, now I just have to remember, I think it was a teaspoon each just to taste it. But it really, really helps me get through without that salt. The Lord just gave it to me because I've never mixed this kind up before. Dorothy said you probably threw off your back alignment in the fall and need chiropractor. Well, I'm going in the morning, Dorothy. That's all I know to do. Uh, I imagine all of you, or they told me I've got a little membership to the joint. Some of you may live in a town where there is the joint. It's a quickie. You go get a quickie, y'all. Uh, they fix your back, uh, and it's only $25. When you don't have to fill all that paperwork out and all that stuff. Dee says the tennis ball work. Yeah, it does for me, but it's took me a while to figure out where to put the tennis ball. Now, if you have sciatic pain, uh, I take the tennis ball and I put it under the calf on the back and lay my leg down on a golf ball or a tennis ball. Right in the middle, I lay my leg down on that ball and just watch TV. And if you get that on that nerve, you can tell with your thumb in the upper calf, right past the bend, you'll feel that there is soreness usually there. If you're sciatic, there's soreness usually there anyway. But that's the area that I put the golf ball or tennis ball, and I just lay my leg on that. And that seems to alleviate any sciatic pain. I was going to the chiropractor, I was doing this, I was taking pain relievers, nothing helped. And so I got to researching, and that's kind of where that point is. Uh, the what is it, acupuncture point or something I figured out. So it that helps. And then the tennis ball in my hip area, it hurts like the dickens for a few minutes, but I don't hurt myself, but I get it where it's comfortable, and then I lay on that tennis ball, and it just seems to kind of alleviate that pain, and maybe it works it out a little better. I've got one of those massagers that you just sit on, and it does all that. It don't do as good as this. Uh, Doris said maybe your dizziness is from inner ear crystals. Yeah, I do the TMJ thing. I did it today because I could tell that my ears, the right ear, was stopping up. Hi, Debbie Tanner. I'm sorry. I just now saw that. Hello to you too. Uh, David, I've already said, but David, I hope you're doing okay. You had asked me for the kind of procedure for the cancerous tumor. It is radio frequency ablation, and maybe that's not exactly what you need, but I don't have the exact name. I think that's what it's called. It's the radio frequency ablation. And just give me 1 second, John. Let me go through here. I know that they gave me the exact terminology for that. And two, I'm taking mother to a neurologist pretty well, it'll be, I think, late November, because her blood pressure, the orthostatic, uh, is not gotten any better, but I watch her like a hawk. I don't let her out of that bed, and she can get up and walk. I said, just be careful until we get you up, and then I'll have to send it, David. Get you up. Let me get a drink. Cheers. Until we get you up and you're stable, or steady on your feet, you just stay there. You don't move. Uh, Rebecca Beeler, good to see you also. We've been on here 34 minutes. I just am still floored about poor Peter and Florida's mother. I hope that tonight that changes for the better. God will work what he can, and we just have to accept whatever it is. Uh, you know, there's not much you can do. We just have to accept it. Do the best we can. The reason the video I was going to tell y'all last night, that was an older video, but I thought about the big biscuits, the angel biscuits. The reason that had music, a couple people had said that the music was distracting. Well, I'm not going to use music unless I just have to. And that video, of course, why it was spliced and done the way it was, of course, Mother liked the video with the music, but I don't usually do that. But the voice cut out that whole portions where the music is. So I had to do something. I still had the video, but you have to realize that was when I was using one of the phones as a camera. So I'm doing the best that we can, and I've got some new things. I got a new tablet here. That's what we're on tonight. Not new. I got it at the pawn shop for about $80, and it was a good deal because I had it. I traded in some of mine. I had two. The guy traded them. Billie Jean, that is a good option because yours is a small single lesion. You're good to go. Well, I think so, David. They told me with that cancer lesion, you'd know that would be a good option. I'm just glad that it's close to where I am instead of having to go all the way into Dallas or go somewhere else. Just thank the Lord. Uh, I just glad I didn't have to go at Podunk. You know, I, I'm just thankful that we've got the hospital there at TMC in Denison, Texas, because they've been nothing but excellent, nice, wonderful to me, and they seem to know everything. Uh, they seem to know everything, a lot, without even question. So I feel comfortable with that. Thanks, David, for telling me that. It's reassuring, and I think I'll be fine too. I've just got to get this, uh, whatever it's called, EGD, GED. No, it's not GED. That's what you get for not for school. EGD, I think, next week to see if those bands on those blood vessels are holding. And once I get, there's my friend Linda. Hi, Linda. Good to see you. Once I get the EEGD done, then the next week or two, they will schedule the cancer tumor to be ablated. And, that I'll be glad to get that out. I don't know if I have no idea how cancer affects someone. I've seen my father have cancer, and I've seen my stepbrother have the multiple myeloma, and my dad had mesothelioma, but I've never known how a cancerous tumor of the liver or of any other, a small tumor, if it can make me tired, if it can make me, because something been going on all this time, and I thought it was just the cirrhosis. I wonder if uh, maybe David, if the cancer can make you feel other feelings that would not have been uh, involved if you had not had the cancerous tumor of the liver. Uh, they say I'll feel better, but like my friend always said, I said it's a minor surgery or whatever, and he said, well, it may be a minor surgery to you, but it's a major surgery to me. Uh, Now mine's, I think, it's a new procedure, y'all. They just burn that tumor out of the liver. It just kind of goes goodbye. They take one probe and meet in the middle of the tumor, and it just scorches that out there. That's not the right word, but I don't know any other word to use. Hi, Kitty. How are you? Linda, I hope you're doing well. I just haven't had a chance to respond to a lot of people because we've been ripping and roaring, and half my family's sick. Uh, the other half's already dead. So it just one thing after another every day. My mother's my main issue, and getting her lunch cooked, getting her breakfast cooked, getting her dinner cooked, getting her bath, getting clothes washed, getting the clothes in the dryer, going to the pharmacy, going to the doctor for her, going to the doctor for me, going to the grocery store for us. Uh, it takes it's that's a week. That involves everything that I have to do. I don't have time to chit chat or hello, how are you, or something. I never took it for granted, but used to. I could talk on the phone and meet people for lunch or do this or that. Not anymore. I can't do that. I've got a I've got a job to do, and that's take care of mother and myself now. So I'm doing the best I can. She's doing the best she can. She wants to help me, but I don't want her to fall. So I say, no, I'll do it. I'll do it myself because I don't want you falling. You know. But I hope everybody has a good rest of your week. Uh, I think that I think all my appointments are already taken over this week for, but next week it starts all over again. I'll try to come on when I can, y'all. I'll try to do recipes when I can. It's just that I don't have much time. Uh, yeah, Linda, it's a lot, but you know what? Good, good. I'm glad you're fine. Now I've got to get off here, get mother her medicine, and get her ready for bed. So thank you all. God bless you. God bless the United States. We'll talk to you soon.